Welcome back to the podcast, Daily Life of a Song. In the last episode, we started the interview with Mr. Ross Stark. And now, here's the other half of that interview.
What was the most interesting thing about working in the tech world, specifically in the audio industry?
I've always been fascinated with, as far back as I can remember, with acoustics, just in general, just how sound works in the natural world, and then in the audio world, we use electronics to manipulate that, to either amplify something, to record something, mix that together, and so I just kind of keep going back to acoustics, and I just really enjoy this interesting little field and how that can be manipulated. Sometimes that can be like some of the cool theater experiences you might have, or something such as like going to Disney or other theme parks like that, and how they can create an experience. And part of that is how they can use acoustics to give you certain perceptions of things. And I've always been just really interested in that, and how different environments will produce different sounds, or you can take the same sound and put it in a different environment, and you'll hear the differences from one space to another. Different auditoriums I've been able to go into, and how they will sound different. The same ensemble might play from one place to another, but the entire room sounds different. So just in general, the acoustic nature of things has always just kind of fascinated me. And even going into how I play as a musician, there's a lot of technical things that I've just never really accomplished, but I've always just really been interested in as a drum set player, that there's some of the natural sounds and some of the nuances that are there that you can create that work together to produce the overall sound that you're doing there. So that's kind of getting thick in the weeds as far as, especially on the musician end, but especially like on something so natural as a drum or cymbals. There's so many small little things there, and I don't know, the small, tiny little details, those micro details, just kind of fascinate me, I guess.
Any tips for the people trying to get their feet wet in the lovely world of tech?
So it can be an interesting environment. It's a mix of a lot of different personalities and a lot of different characters. And a warning that I can give is to try to stay away from some of the stereotypical, the grumpy. I'm tired of dealing with people, that type of mentality. Find good examples of not just people that can do the work, but people that can exemplify the type of person that you would want to work with. That when you leave working with them, you're not beat down, you're not frustrated or whatever. That can actually be somebody that would build you up. But I would jump out there and get involved and get time on the job. There's just no substitute for it. Treat, especially audio, treat it like a musical instrument. If you're running sound, treat it like a musical instrument, not so much like a piece of equipment. You are playing, in a sense, a musical instrument, and so you're part of the musical presentation, and treat it as such. So it's a craft. So it's something that you can't just read about it in a book and then go immediately apply it. It's an art. It really is. So time on the job, be humble, look to a lot of different sources to pull information from, because there may be a great source out there. YouTube is a wonderful resource. There may be a great source out there that in their own right is doing great work, but you might need it phrased a little bit different to learn that particular skill set or something like that. There might be some little niche thing that you need to learn a different way. It needs to be phrased a different way. I know for me, trying to learn how to manipulate a compressor, that's a very specific thing, attack time, release time, things like that. I've had to have it I've had to read it multiple times in different presentations. I've had to listen to different presentations. I've had to have different people explain it. And it's one of those that I just had to have enough of it by enough different presentations to finally go, okay, I kind of get that. So be humble, find a lot of different sources to pull from, and treat it just like you would if you were trying to become a better musician. It's going to take a slow drip process over a long period of time. It's not something you can just learn and pick up and take off with.
All right. To work on that, would you say if you had your church or a school you're going to had a tech team, do you think that would be a good place to start since you're able to learn more about how to work in a team?
Absolutely. Especially if it's the type of setup that that will allow you to arrive at whatever level you're at, and allow you to kind of start contributing there and to shadow, especially. That's another thing that is important, just to kind of watch how other people are doing that. So yeah, if somebody had that opportunity, similar to what we do here at Cary or at a church or whatever the case is, take those opportunities, jump in there, and just constantly have a learning mentality. You're just trying to soak up things like a sponge. Just pick up on how they even talk, like especially here in a production environment. There's some lingo that's there, and how there's a rhythm of conversation that happens during a production. Pick up on that and figure out, kind of reverse engineer, figure out why are they saying it like that? What do they mean by that?
All right, and the last question. Any facts you want to say about the tech realm?
So much to say, but just to reiterate, surround yourself with people that are not just technically where you want to be, but just how they interact with others are more of how you would want to be, what environment you would want to be a part of. Look for those opportunities to learn. The cool thing about the tech world of AVL, audio, video, lighting stuff, is that most of those people are involved in things where they kind of naturally would make videos about that, or to some degree maybe show behind the scenes pictures, things like that. And so there's a lot that you can very easily reach out and learn about. One thing that is a constant in the tech world is to learn. You're going to have to fail, and be willing to fail. Just kind of do a fail forward type approach. You're going to get beat up. Just you have to get back up and keep moving forward. Try to take a calm approach, or I've heard it kind of described like a duck: above the water and under the water. Above the water is smooth sailing. Below the water, those feet are going 90 to nothing. And so present yourself, especially during a production of some sort or during a studio recording session. Even when the entire world around you is burning, you're going to have to give a calm demeanor, maybe a serious demeanor, but a calm demeanor, so that you can help calm everything around you. And something too is understanding that when you get ramped up yourself, your thinking changes, your attention span changes, and all that. So try to stay calm. Know that you're going to fail. Be okay with failing. Put yourself around people that are going to be okay with you failing, but also are going to challenge you. So there's a happy mix there, and then it can be difficult to find that. And then in recapping these events, or when you're taking constructive criticism, be willing to kind of just set the feelings aside for a little bit. The feeling to justify immediately or defend every little step, set that aside, listen from others, and make sure that you do put it through a filter. Just because someone else says, that doesn't necessarily equal that that's exactly what happened or should happen or anything like that. But be able to set the feelings aside, have those hard conversations, and then pick the feelings back up later. So you're going to have to set those aside, be willing to fail, but not let it defeat you either. And that's a hard thing to do, and you may not find that every single time. You may have to practice that skill as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being a part of my podcast today.
Absolutely.
I hope that your questions have been answered.
Thank you so much for watching this 2-part interview episode. In the next episode, I will finally begin editing Eldest Daughters, the song that I started in the beginning of this podcast. This may be a 2-part episode as well. I will see y'all in my next episode.